Good morning, good afternoon. Raquel Redmond from Brava Art Press, presenting a painting project now based on a project that we did before, a project on construction. We built a kind of tree here. We put it together, we joined things together in timber, and then we painted, and this one was made out of cardboard, joined together with different bits and pieces, different shapes together, and cardboard. But now it's time to create another project from that idea. We're going to paint. By setting these constructions on the middle of the table so everybody will share, like if there are 4 or 5 students, 4 or 5 construction will be on the center of the table, so everybody will have a view of their constructions. And we are going to create something like this. We are going to do some paintings like that. And as you can see, different students approach the painting project in different ways. This is just dealing with shapes and colors, lots of beautiful colors. This one is a child that decided, a student that decided to create a landscape. She incorporated the foreground here, the land, and the sky by using the horizon line that goes across there, and then she set up her construction. After that, if we have time, or probably we can do another project, a collage. So you can do collage out of this, using this idea, what you created. It's going to be a unique, whatever you do, a unique painting, a unique drawing, or a unique collage. There is also the possibility here of doing a drawing with black paints and using this wonderful paint that paints in an incredibly rich way, like that. But you can also, this paint can be diluted and watered down and use it as a watercolor. As you can see here, as a watercolor paint, you can still see the black lines that you used to do this drawing based on these constructions. So this is what we're going to do in this video tutorial. To do this painting projects, we need obviously the paint. And remember that this time we are using this paint called Chroma Acryl Fluid Concentrate, because it is very concentrated, it's really, really rich. The paint is going to go on these trays, ice cube trays, and we have a water container here, which is a takeaway container, plastic container. So if you are working on a group of 4, 5, 6 students, in a group up situation of desks, you will need 2 ice cube trays per group to share, and 2 water containers. We need also rags. Every student will have a piece of rag, and brushes. We always use a medium-sized brush and a small-sized brush because our paper size is about that size. We're going to use you can use white paper or brown paper, whatever paper you find. And at the end, to keep the paint fresh, you just cover it with some plastic wrap like that and put it away until the next session. We are going to move now the camera to the other side so I can show you how to draw. We are not going to use pencils, we are not going to use crayons. We are simply going to use the small paintbrush with watered down paint to draw this composition before we actually start applying the color. Here we have some constructions in front of us. The idea is to put them in on the center of the table as a group. So if we are sitting in front of them, we have a view. If you are sitting on the other side of the table, you are also going to have a view. So all the students can have a view. You can put yours in front of you, so you start with yours first. And to handle the paint here, we are adding water. I got the paint on this kitchen tray. There is a supermarket trays that you can bring from home to make this now paint into a sort of watercolor quality paint to draw. To draw, you have to have runny paint so you can draw lines. So I'll start just by, I'm not worried about mistakes. I'm just going to, you see, try to paint, to draw that one. And that one is going to have like a bit like this, a bit like that, and it goes like this. So I'm drawing, and I probably won't have the whole thing on, it doesn't matter. This is all you need, a very simple drawing like this. And next is going to be to apply the different colors. Here I have 3 brushes. I have a rounded big one, a medium size, and a very small one. So I like to use the big one because I like to paint fast. And I have my colors here on the ice cube tray, the paper for mixing colors, my water, and also the rag. So it doesn't matter, you don't have to paint exactly what you see. What is important is what are you going to create from there. This is your creation, this is unique. Nobody has done that before because you just did it in the other project. Now you are going to translate or draw from that, and it's fun. So I'll just start working with color. Applying color there. Like that. Always mixing colors. Painting to the edge is very important, the edge of the other colors, so we don't have white in between. So I'm sort of blending colors as I go. So I know that children have a very lovely way to apply paint, very expressive, very loose. And that's what we are looking at, applying paint in a very loose way with those 2 colors. Bit more blue. So applying like that. If you want to apply a bit there, a bit on the ground, the same color. And that's how it's going to happen. That's how you're going to paint. I'm still painting here, just the ground, adding some more green here. I've nearly ready painted the sky. And as I said, when you do this, just move your paintbrush in a very sort of loose way, because that is the joy of applying painting. Just in a very sort of floppy hand, lets the brush to move, to go, to take you to whatever the brush wants to go, like that, and moving, and probably pretend that there are trees at the distance there. You add details, and we can add some detail there with that minty green. And a bit of around there. And I think we're nearly ready, because what else can we do here? You have created 2 very strange characters in a strange, if you want to put it like this, in a strange landscape. What I'm doing here, I'm drawing in a very loose way, holding the pen like this, black pen that is not going to run, because we are going to wet this, and in a very loose way again, and with applying lots of details here, like that, and you can give them eyes and a face, because that will probably become a character. And just again using your imagination, some arms and funny handsome feet, long feet like that. It became like completely different, you see, with buttons. And then we have this other one here, again with a very floppy hand with big ears like that, and a beak and some eyes here, and a face. This is a smiley one. So this is creating another character, and this character is going to go out of the picture because we don't have enough And this is a different way of drawing. You see, you can add a lot more details with this way of drawing. A lot of details here, more details, lines, if you want to put them on a landscape, set it up on a landscape, and more. I just want to show you some hills probably there, behind them, and lots of things like that, and like this. On the supermarket tray, we can just apply. We will come back to that in a minute. We have, as you can see, the water is too dirty, so it's time to change the water. Now we have this drawing ready. It got a lot of lines, a lot of different very loose lines, and the idea is to show you what happens if you mix this paint with water. It becomes, as you can see, we are going to apply there. You see what is happening there? You can still see the lines underneath, because this paint, after all, after being very thick and thick enough to be able to paint those constructions, it can be watered down to a watercolor kind of paint. So, and if you apply there, you create more colors, and you can see that it's working like a watercolor. We're going to use some bit of yellow, lots of water to come here. And it's a very different situation here. Still, the colors are still nice and relatively bright. You see what I'm doing here? It's all in one color, but by applying a bit of that red that I'm mixing now with the watercolor, it's going to be a bit more water, like a purpley color there. And we can apply that purple there on the mountain with a bit of blue, and it comes into a different purple. So I don't think I'll do more, because we don't have much time on the video, but it is this paint that with one set of paint you can do paint on timber, paint on paper, you can paint on clay, you can paint on like watercolor if you dilute it like this with water. Diluting means adding water. So lots of possibilities with this paint. Red face there. And I think we will leave it to there. I'll show you the finished paint, the finished painting probably at the end of the video. Just before we say goodbye, I'd like to make a note about the paint we use today to do this construction projects, painting and on cardboard like here, or painting on paper. If you are working with students from grade 6, 7, 8, junior high school, upper primary school, it's okay to use this paint, and students should use paint shirts or paint smokes. If you are working with very young children, it's much better to use this other paint that is very, it has a wonderful quality to paint on these surfaces. It covers well, but the only difference would be that you will have to underpaint your construction like that with white, with a big paintbrush. It's sort of a thicker paint, very good for primary school and early childhood. And when it's nice and dry, you can paint the colors using this paint called Chroma 2. Thank you very much. So this is the conclusion of our project that started with construction in 3-dimensional. We used cardboard and timber. We painted. We created some strange characters. Could be like a strange dog or a strange tree like this one. And from there, we went to a painting with the same paints. We did a painting like this, creating strange creatures on a strange landscape. So that is the painting project. And also, we can go on and do drawing, line drawing with lots of lines and beautifully drawn with lots of, you know, your hand using your very loose way of drawing, and then watering down the paint. You add water to the paint and the paint becomes watercolors, and you can do that kind of painting. I'm going to finish this, and this painting is going to appear finished for you to have a look. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed this video, please visit www.bravaartpress.com and also visit our YouTube channel, where we have lots of videos for you to do with your parents or your teachers and have fun. Thank you.